Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 19 of the only show on YouTube that delves into my mind each and every week. The show named, it's right up there. Have I told you about this? Hi, I'm Brad Komjanik, your host, and this week my mind was on absolutely nothing else than an amazing new experience that I could not get my mind off of, no matter how hard I tried. And that is Pokemon Pokopia, not Pokopia. A lot of people are getting that wrong online. But before I get started this week, as always, I wanted to first say thank you to each and every one of you who take the time to watch even a minute of any of my videos. And I want to thank those who like, subscribe, and comment on them. And I also appreciate, truly appreciate your feedback that you've given me on my show so far. A lot of the feedback that I've heard has been very constructive, and I appreciate that. And I take it all seriously. For example, you told me my shows run an hour, sometimes 30 minutes. It's too long. Could you put out more videos and shorter? So, starting this week, I will begin to put out more videos, but shorter in length, usually around 10 minutes or no more. I'll try to keep each show to a single topic and cover it as rapidly as I can. Now, Survivor videos are going to be just a little bit longer, but friends, they won't be an hour, I promise you. Um, they'll be standalones also. So if Survivor's not your gig, you can just completely say, nah, not interested. Because I've heard you also say, well, I like part of what you're talking about, not the other, and it would be great if it would be broken up. So thank you so much for that feedback. It helps new creators like me. So thank you. I really appreciate it. All right, enough of that. Again, thank you for liking, subscribing, and telling friends. Let's jump right in. So, have I told you about Pokemon Pokopia? Well, let's get right into it. Okay. So, where are my Pokeheads? Where are you? No. No. Not that kind. Not that kind at all. Pokemon cards have certainly taken the world by storm. That no doubt. But this isn't a show about cracking packs and reaping rares, okay? This is about Pokopia, okay? So the images that you're seeing here are Pokemon Pokopia. It's a brand new, much buzzed about Pokemon game for the Nintendo Switch and the Switch 2 only. But I say only, but I'll tell you a little later how you can be able to play it, but multiplayer on your original Nintendo Switch. So whether you're a lifelong Pokemon fan, you're a cozy game aficionado, or just pokey curious, this game is 100% for you. All right. All right, Brad, enough. What is it? What does it do? Well, Pokemon Pokopia launched on March 5th, and it's already being hailed as one of the most innovative spinoffs in the franchise's 30-year history. And to date, it stands as the highest ranked Pokemon game of all time, according to Metacritic at the time of this filming. It's developed by Game Freak and Koei Tecmo's Omega Force team. Now, that team may sound familiar to you. It's the same studio behind Dragon Quest Builders 2, a game that's very similar in structure. Now, Pokopia is what's called a life simulation game, and it blends creative freedom of a game like Minecraft, right, where you're crafting things and building things, tearing things down, busting up rocks, things like that, and the cozy charm of Animal Crossing, where you get to decorate things and you get to talk to the villagers and things like that. And of course, the irresistible gotta catch 'em all of classic Pokemon. But here's the twist: you're not a trainer this time. Nope. You're actually a Ditto, a Pokemon, but a Ditto who's transformed into the human shape, wearing the face of his missing trainer and body as well. See, you woke up on a ruined post human Kanto. There are no humans around. As a matter of fact, there's only one Pokemon. He's a Tangrowth named Professor Tangrowth. And together, your mission is to rebuild the world. attract Pokemon back to it by building homes for them, and maybe, just maybe, bring humanity back. So Pokopia is actually available, as I mentioned, exclusively on the Nintendo Switch 2, supporting both single player, though, and multiplayer, up to 4-player multiplayer. And it has that awesome cross play feature for those still on the original Nintendo Switch via Game Share. And yes, here's some bad news. It is a $70 release, but more on that later. So, how does Pokopia differ from traditional Pokemon games? Well, let's address the Pokeball in the room. Pokopia is not your typical Pokemon adventure. There are no battles, there's no gyms, there's no Elite Four. Instead, the game leans hard into the life sim territory. Your goal isn't to catch them all in the traditional sense, although you very well will catch them all, but not the way you're used to it. You're actually befriending them all by crafting habitats and homes, by fulfilling the requests that they give you, and by making the world a place they want to live in. So the absence of combat is a bold move, as combat even plays a major role in Dragon Quest Builders and Builders 2. But it's one that pays off for Pokopia by not having the battling. Instead of focusing on fighting, Pokopia is about restoration, connection, and comedy, and a heartfelt, warming journey to build a Pokemon world of your design. You'll spend days gathering resources, which is fun to do, building structures, which is easy. It's as easy or as complex as you want to make it. Designing habitats, first that the Pokemon tell you that they want, and then your own that you live in. And you can even invite Pokemon to come live in your home. And interacting with Pokemon in ways that is fresh and meaningful. Now, it's a game about nurturing, not conquering. The theme that resonates deeply, especially for longtime fans who grew up with the series. Now, if you're worried about missing the thrill of discovery or the satisfaction of filling out a Pokédex, don't worry. Do not worry, friends. Pokopia's world is packed with secrets, side quests, and a massive roster of Pokemon to befriend. But more on that as we move forward. All right, let's stop with the slideshow and let's show you some gameplay. Okay. So, what do you actually do in Pokopia? We've talked a lot about what it is. What do you do? Again, the core gameplay loop here is kind of deceptively simple, but it's engaging. Here's how it works. After creating, as you're seeing here, what you think Ditto's old trainer might look like, you start in the withered wasteland. It's a devastated version of Fuchsia City from the old games. Your first task is to restore the land by learning moves from Pokemon. So think water gun from Squirtle, okay, to revive dried plants, or leafage from Bulbasaur to help grow tall grass. These moves aren't for battle. They're to help build tools and terraforming and crafting. You won't use them on other Pokemon, you'll use them on the world around you. So as you build these habitats, patches of grasses, flower beds, ponds, the new Pokemon get attracted by that because that's what they're used to living in. But each species has its own preferences, okay? And you find that by talking to them. Charmander wants a dry, fiery spot, but Squirtle prefers somewhere close to water. You need to craft furniture, adjust the environment, and sometimes even manipulate the very weather to make them comfortable. I've literally had them tell me, we need it more humid here. You're like, well, how do I control the weather? It's here in the game. You'll love figuring out how to do that. Once a Pokemon moves in, you begin to interact with them. You can give them gifts. You can play mini games with them. Many different mini games, fulfilling their requests and even helping them with chores like farming, mining, or powering up electrical devices. Now, the happier the Pokemon, the higher your environment level of your region will become. That helps you unlock new blueprints, resumes, and story progression. Now, as you progress, you'll unlock new regions, each with its own biomes and challenges and Pokemon to discover. And the loop of building and befriending and blooming just never ever loses its charm because each place you go to is completely different than the last. So Pokopia is actually absolutely bursting with things to do, both big and small. So let me just break down kind of what daily systems are and activities that keep the world feeling alive for you. You literally have daily challenges in this game. Every day, you'll find new challenges at the Pokemon Center PC. Simple tasks like water so many plants, craft so many items, or help so many Pokemon, or find so many new Pokemon today. And completing those earns you what are called life coins. Life coins are the game's currency this time around. Now, there are shops, and the shops have rotating items. The daily shop offers a fresh selection of furniture, recipes, and kits each and every day. It's worth checking in regularly for rare finds and even event items. And then there are dream islands. Just the other night, I found and befriended Drifloon, and you can visit a special dream island each day, once a day, by giving Drifloon a Poké or just showing him a Poké. Each island offers unique materials for you to find and rare items, so you never know what you're going to find. And destinations change depending upon the doll that you use. You can keep going to the same place by showing them the same doll, but when you find or craft different dolls on the island, you can go to different places. I think you're beginning to catch on to see this game is not interested in showing you the same thing multiple times. It wants you to keep progressing. And then, of course, you can restore your PP or power points. Your moves that you do consume power points. So when I learn cut, right, from Skylar, then when I go cut things, my meter for cutting slowly goes down. Then I must find fruit, eat fruit, and it puts that back up. But there are other ways to restore that too. You can go to the Poke Center's healing machine one time a day. Time and weather play a huge difference in this game. The game actually runs on a real-time clock with day and nighttime cycles with dynamic weather. And that also affects when Pokemon appear and what activities are available. Don't expect to see Charmander running around on a rainy day. It would put out its tail. Now, beyond the basics, you're going to find a wealth of side activities, as I mentioned. There's farming, there's cooking, there's mining, there's fishing, there's an amazing photo mode. It feels like Pokemon Snap, and even hide and seek minigames. Heck, I played jump rope with Bulbasaur, and I did so well as the better I was doing, more Pokemon started gathering around watching, and they were cheering me on, and it made me want to do better at the game. And the better you do, the better rewards you get from the Pokemon. So it makes you want to keep playing jump rope, for goodness sake. There's always something to do, and the game just cleverly avoids dead time that can plague other live sim games like this. So there's also transform abilities and Pokemon interactions, okay? One of Pokemon Pokopia's most delightful mechanics is Ditto's ability to transform, not just into other Pokemon, but into objects and even environmental features. So as you befriend Pokemon, Ditto learns their signature moves, and that unlocks new ways to interact with the world. So for example, after helping Squirtle do whatever he needs you to do, you'll learn Water Gun, and that revives plants. Because again, you're in this withering, almost post-apocalyptic world where everything seems to have just been burnt by the sun. So when you water it, everything comes back to life. Trees, shrubs, grass, even the walkways and sand changes. And then you befriend Skyther and you'll get cut to chop down those trees that are blocking your path. And then Hitmonchan teaches you Rock Smash because you'll see certain rocks you can smash, and right behind them are whole new areas of the biome that you're at. Later, you'll unlock Surf by transforming into Lapras, and then Glide by becoming Dragonite, and even Magnet Rise from Magnemite to float and to build in mid-air. These transformations aren't just cosmetic. They're essential for exploration and crafting and uncovering the many secrets that are in this game. Now, some puzzles require you to use the right move at the right time, and certain areas are only accessible once you've learned specific abilities, of course. So, um, the Pokemon themselves are more than just residents. Each has unique behaviors and interactions. Some will play games with you, like I said, mentioned jump rope with Bulbasaur, while others might help with your chores. They'll run shops for you, or even power up your town's electrical grid if they're an electrical type Pokemon. Watching Pokemon go about their daily routines and react to the decorations and the things that you give them. I gave Bulbasaur a pinwheel because he wanted a toy, but Pidgey then became in front of it and started flapping his wings to make it turn, and that made Bulbasaur happier. It made me happier as well. So there's just the little things and the little animations that this game is just chock full of. If you love building and customization, this is a dream come true for you. The game gives you near total freedom to shape the world as you see fit, laying down paths and bridges to constructing elaborate homes and public spaces. Crafting is central, though, to progression. You're going to gather those materials wood, stone, flowers, metals, and you're going to use your moves and Pokemon helpers. You'll have workbenches, and it's your best friend. It lets you craft furniture, utilities, and building kits. And pro tip, okay, immediately build the storage box. It's one of the first things you can build just by picking up some sticks, and you'll want that. And you'll always want to put it directly next to every workbench because then when you use the workbench, it will not only take from your inventory, but it will take from the storage bench as well. You have functional furniture here. Beds work, chairs work, tables work, and they boost comfort and they're required for Pokemon to move in. You have decorations like fences, lamps, even full on art pictures from different Pokemon games. As I mentioned, you have utilities with workbenches and storage and power infrastructure. And even in the infrastructure, you can do paths, bridges, and stairs. And like later on, Slowpoke says, "My feet hurt, and I need smooth paths or everywhere I go." And you need to get him from where you find him almost all the way across the biome where you're at. So you're going to be going to the workbench and building these paths, wooden paths that he'll be able to walk through so that he can get to where he's going. And it also teaches you how to build different things in the game. So things like that. But as your town grows, you're going to need to manage the environmental stats as well. Humidity, comfort, and power to attract specific Pokemon. Some habitats are simple, others require rare items or clever combinations of things that you've built. It's a satisfying puzzle that rewards experimentation and creativity. But let me be clear on this: you will never be lost. If you don't know what to do, you can either talk to the Pokemon or go to the professor. The professor is one of these kind of almost leveled hint systems. He'll first tell you maybe you should look for a Pokemon to help you. And then you might ask him again and say, maybe the Pokemon that might help you might know more about fire. And you ask him a third time and it's like, go ask Charmander. Right? So you have that available to you, but you don't ever have to use it unless you need it. Now, I should also say Pokopia is a love letter to Pokemon's history. It's packed with hidden features and callbacks and Easter eggs for fans to discover. Just a few of the highlights. There are those dream islands that I mentioned. The mechanic of using dolls to visit special islands is a nod to Dream World from Pokemon Black and White. There's the museum and a fossil restoration system. In the Rocky Ridges, you find a museum run by Gimmingool, and it's reminiscent of Blathers from the Animal Crossing. Remember Blathers where you could restore fossils to unlock prehistoric animals? Here you unlock prehistoric Pokemon, each requiring specific fossil pieces and habitats. And then, of course, friends, you're not going to have a Pokemon game without legendary sightings. Occasionally, you hear mysterious sounds and spot legendary Pokemon, maybe circling in the skies. If you follow them, you might collect something rare. So that's a tip for me to you. There's also mysterious murals and team initiation challenges. These multi step side quests are packed with lore and references from past games, including secret caves, hidden items, and cryptic journals. Of course, you're going to find variant Pokemon. Get this, it introduces new forms like Pikachu, which is Peakychu, and he's a totally white, pale, lethargic Pikachu. Then you have Mosslax, a moss covered Snorlax, and Smear Guru, a vibrant Smeargle. And they all have unique behaviors and lore for why they are like they are. And learning those things is a joy. The soundtrack and the UI are great as well, and they're very easy to get through. And the game soundtrack is absolutely a banger. And you can go back and play different tunes as you want them or change them as well. Now, again, Pocopia's story is surprisingly deep and at times even haunting. Through journals, logs, and environmental storyline, you try to learn what happened to the humans. Where did they go? How did this land get decimated? Now, I'm not going to spoil that here for you, of course, but needless to say, Ditto and his friends are rebuilding and hoping for a reunion that may never come with the humans. The main narrative unfolds across four core regions. You start at Withered Wasteland, then you'll find Rocky Ridges, Bleak Beach, and Sparkling Skylands. That's not a spoiler, friends. That's in all of the videos, and it was already told. Again, no spoilers here. And there is a fifth open-ended area called Pallet Town, and that's just for pure sandbox creativity. When you roll credits after completing the team initiation challenge and you restore your final area, you're not even close. The true ending is reserved for those who befriend all 299 Pokemon and the final legendary for a total of 300. Friends, this game for a completionist is well into the 250 hours to see absolutely everything. But if that number scares you, you can simply just play it up to the credits and call it and be done. And you would maybe in the 50-hour range, right? So again, 300 Pokemon. You're going to find Kanto classics like Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, Pikachu, Eevee, and their evolutions, alongside favorites from Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, Kalos, legendary Pokemon like Mewtwo, Kyogre, the Kanto birds. Half the joy is just discovering each and every Pokemon one by one. Now, there is multiplayer here, as I mentioned before, and Pokopia shines even brighter with friends. You can have up to 4 players join your game in Pallet Town, where you build, craft, and explore together. That's that sandbox town, right? And it gives you chores to do, and you guys do them together. And you can build and you can play games and mini games like hide and seek. The replayability is great if you like multiplayer. From a technical performance and accessibility standpoint, Pokopia is just a major leap forward for this series. The water has waves. Everything looks great. It is a beautiful game, right? It runs at a smooth 60 frames per second on the Switch 2, with vibrant pastel visuals and a pop art style that sets it apart from the mainline games in the series. Controls are intuitive. Now, there's no official DLC announced yet for Pokopia, but the developers have hinted, and you can clearly see in the game, spots for ongoing support and potential updates down the line. Friends, given this title success, and it's the highest rated game yet, just count on DLC in the future. But now the question, is it worth that $70 price tag? Is it worth it? Well, on the surface, its cozy, blocky visuals and gentle pace might seem to be suited to more of a kiddie budget release, but dig deeper and you're going to find a game that's bursting with depth, charm, and replayability, like I've told you before. 300 Pokemon, 100 to 250 hours of total gameplay. It has that Dragon Quest builder's charm to it. You build what you want, right? There's that multiplayer community as well. Critics agree. Pokopia is the highest rated Pokemon game on Metacritic, and its glowing reviews about its innovation, depth, and sheer fun factor make it a game you shouldn't miss. So, Pokemon Pokopia is more than a cozy diversion. It's a bold reimagining of what the franchise can offer. By trading battles for building and competition for community, it delivers such a different experience that's both deeply nostalgic and refreshingly new. Now, whether you're here to fill out the Pokédex, craft the perfect paradise, or just hang out with your favorite Pokemon, Pokopia welcomes you with open arms and a blobby pink smile from Ditto. It's a game that rewards your curiosity, creativity, and kindness. And it's a world that could use a little more of all three, is the world we live in, isn't it? And that's something special. So, the only thing that I wish the Pokemon developers would consider doing is actually put the daggone card game into these games and make your cards transferable between them. Here's what I'm talking about. This game could start you off with just a generic pack of Pokemon cards as a welcome to your home gift, right? Each Pokemon then would have their own decks, and once you build the Poke Center, that would be a place where you and the Pokemon could play and battle each other. PP or the life coins could be given out as rewards for winning. And of course, you could find cards or purchase cards with those in game coins, or just find them in the world, or get them as gifts when you beat other Pokemon. There's so many ways to do it. Let's face it, all this is going to do is bring people, more and more people, to the card game who may not otherwise know that that game even exists, or they may think it's too daunting to start with it since now this game's been around for decades. It's clear they're never ever going to put out a new video game of the Pokemon card game. There was a Game Boy Color version years ago, but nothing since. Come on, developers. You're getting lazy. You want more money, right? You want to charge me $70. How about you make this $50 and include the Pokemon trading card game and watch me run down to my local board game store and buy your cards or Target like everybody else? Just my 2 cents. All right, let's wrap up. That's all for today's episode of Have I Told You About This? Pokemon Pokopia. I hope you've enjoyed this shorter, smaller, condensed trip through my mind this week as it experienced this divine journey back into the world of Pokemon. I've been playing this game since it came out. I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop wondering what's next, what's around the next corner, and I'm not even out of the first world yet. So, won't you let me know down in the comments? Share your favorite discoveries, your wildest builds, or the Pokemon you're most excited to befriend in the comments below. Let me know the secrets that you found. What crazy journals have you found? And what kind of lore have you found that maybe you didn't know about this exciting world? So until next time, friends, keep building. Please, please, please keep exploring. And remember, you'll never truly catch them all because there's too many, but it's a heck of a lot of fun trying. See you next week, friends, as we go on a new journey in my mind. And also look for this week's Survivor Season 50, Episode 2 video coming soon. Take care.